now that they're out of touch with the people. There's no rapport between them and the constituents that they are supposed to be representing in the House of Parliament. They go to them for nothing. They ask them nothing. They duck them at meetings. They don't want to see them. They don't return their phone calls. They don't take calls. You may say this is true for all governments. Well, I don't know. At least Hubert Alexander Minnis used to take your call. Brave doesn't take anyone's call. Business people have told me that, Mr. Davis. I'm not lying on them. That's what they told me. More people have been trying to get this man, and he don't return calls. Earlier in my career here on talk radio, I've been calling Brave Davis, and he never returned a call. So if it happened to me, it's more likely it could happen to anybody. Return a call, though he should. There's nothing wrong with returning the call. Every prime minister calls me. Everyone. Hubert Ingram called me all the time. Dr. Minnis called me all the time. Perry Christie called me. You know why? Because they want to know. Say, Steve, must be important you call. They know I don't ask for no favors. I'm not looking for any favors. But when you have business people who have problems with electricity and operations of BTC and all this kind of stuff, and no one calls them back, it's got to be shameful. It's got to be a matter where you just don't care. And what has happened now is that people have all this in their minds, and they feel that you all don't care about me. And if they don't care about you, why should you care about them? But elections are coming. So no amount of soft speaking and niceties and all that kind of stuff that's gonna do the trick. People have already picked up to what politics is really like in the Bahamas. You're not gonna get by. Anybody who believes that they're going to just get by because politics, they say, make strange bad fellows, eh? And at the end of the day, it's not going to work. People will treat you how you treated them. Remember that. People will treat you how you treated them. You never return a call. You ain't got no time for me, but you want my vote. They all must remember that as they run to the next elections. That goes true. That goes too to Mr. Michael Pintard and them. If you're out of touch with the people, you're not firing on all angles with the people, what do you expect the people to do? They can't feel you. In Michael Pintard's position, they cannot feel him anymore. They were having so much fun when he first ran again to become the undisputed leader of the Free National Movement. But since that time, since that election happened in June of this year, from that day to this day, he has said nothing worthwhile even reporting. Every now and then they give a little play and report it just because, But you see, when you don't show up, let me show you how this thing works in the Bahamas. You all believe that you all understand this thing. You all don't know nothing about it. You know how this thing works? If you can't show up on a talk show and answer your questions and face the music and face the people, you're joking. All of you. That's what happens. What do you think Facebook is all about? What do you think that this whole thing about going live is all about? What do you think that is? That's rapport. That's the time you're spending with the people. You get that following. You have it made in the shade because they seen you and they hear what you're saying, and you have substance when you talk. So if all of you all are playing that, well, I can just wait for the party ride to happen and then I can do this and we can slip in. No, sir. There's no slipping in. In fact, they're gonna make sure that you all slip out. That's what the people can do, They're gonna make sure that you all don't slip nowhere close. You're gonna slip out and weighing a mission. That's the reality. After the elections, we're not gonna miss you. You take that to the bank. And right these days, people are getting more antsy right now with the way things are in this town. Everybody's raising hell. Obi Ferguson is raising hell with the unions. I mean, everyone is raising hell. Belinda Wilson, raising hell, because they cannot get nothing done. The contractors, the man in charge of construction companies now, he raising hell. I mean, everybody's. I mean, let me just tell you, the people in the hospital, they raising hell. You talk about MacGyver from the COI. She raising hell. And she's on that case every day. And she's consistent. When she puts those things together and she lets that loose, you got to agree with her. Because there's no one else saying anything countering her to make it right and make you feel comfortable. And you talking about these guys, how they gonna win? I don't see it. I don't see it at all. Too many problems have happened in this government. Too many. More insurmountable than Hubert Minnis situation. He ran a short time, 4 years, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
See, you got to understand, the people are now hip. They learning, Lincoln Bain has been the very person who they have learned things intimately from because they see him there. That's what you all going to understand that. That's a simple thing. They see him there. They know he follows through. But these other fellas are just doing what they feel like doing, and they believe that they can just win. Well, if they believe they can win, maybe they're right. Maybe they're thinking that the payment do thing ourselves. And so when we throw the money at them now, they can just vote for us. But that's what they want. We don't want a country. We ain't want no country. If you're going to vote for them on a matter like that, and you're thinking that, well, what's going to happen right now is that immigration, they say there's a big concern, but they ain't a big concern. Well, how are you going to explain it? Which one of you ministers can explain that immigration ain't no big concern? None of you can explain it. Fred Mitchell can't explain it. He can't explain it. Alfred Sayers can't explain it. You know why? Because they know it's a problem. They know that. You think that they want that to be happening in their neck of the wood? No, they don't really want that. That's why Alfred Sayers has not been saying much. He can't say anything much because the pocket is in. They have taken a position. The cabinet has taken a position. This is what they can do. This is what they're trying to do. And they're trying to get this on the people and make the people understand that that's what they're trying to do.
Yes.
But that's a wrong thing what they're doing, and the people will not accept that. You're not going to have these illegals voting in this election. What part of that you don't understand? You want us to ignore all the other things that are happening. The Lincoln Bain scenario, where they're talking about all this carbon credits, all this natural resources, all this sovereign wealth fund, all this thing could happen for us. You want the people to ignore that? The people want a chance to make some money, gentlemen. You all don't even see that. All y'all want to do is just keep on taking money from the people by taxing them to hell, and the big boys in that particular party are making up all the money. The little fellas are making no money. How are you going to fix that? And it cannot be fixed within this period of time. The best scenario possible for the people is to throw you all out so they may get a chance. That's what it is. You don't have to like me for it. I don't really care if you like me or not. The point what I'm making is that this is not a popularity contest. I'm looking out for the welfare and the future of this Bahamas. That's my job. My media colleagues have not been taking it serious. Their whole thing is whatever happens, happens. You know that's politics. I cannot have such a childish attitude. Nor can the average behaving person have a childish attitude. What happens in this particular election, my friends, will be the pace setter for the rest of the country, for the rest of our lives. That's what's going to happen in this election. What happens in this particular election, if you see these guys are able to persuade and convince you all to allow these people to vote in our country, it is over. Remember, I told you that. Totally over. And you ain't seen nothing yet. Wait until they get their hands on that power. You will see mistreatment that you've never seen or never imagined before. Look at it right now. Who got the beds in the hospital? Uh-huh. Who got all the social services secured? Uh-huh. I only ask you the questions. You know the answers. Who could build houses anywhere on people's land? Uh-huh. And they ain't reach yet. You have to stop this.
Yeah.
Have to stop it. But anyway, that's what I'm talking about today. And all of this thing has happened just because of this reality. Mitchell says the next election, they're preparing for the next election. So is Lincoln Bain. Lincoln Bain had a big situation down there in Abaco about a week ago now. A week ago, that's last week.
No, that was Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah.
But there's nothing in here with Lincoln Bain. I haven't seen anything there. We've got to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
But there's nothing in Lincoln Bain. But I hope you know that Kyle Mills is not an average fellow. He's a real public advocate.
Mm-hmm.
He has gone international 10 times over. My friend, he was named as a COI candidate. So are some of the other people, like the gentleman over from National Plumbing and people like that. And there's so many fantastic people. The lady Ingram over at in Camp Road. The lady in Camp Road, young girl.
Olivia Ingram Griffin.
Olivia Ingram Griffin. She means business. I've been doing some checking on her, my friend. I don't mean to alarm anyone, especially Wayne Monroe, but I can tell you, my friend, boy, she got your number big time. The people over there, they all crazy for her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you. It's my job to tell you that. I don't know what you can do, but that seat gone. The young man from National Plumbing, he's running in Sea Breeze.
Mm-hmm. William Knowles.
And let me tell you something. Mr. William Knowles in Sea Breeze seemingly got that thing locked down too.
Mm-hmm. They know him. He's been there all his life.
Born there, lived there, wait there, play there, do everything there. And he's a native son. And see, you got to understand how the people are feeling. But the people of the PLP are not checking for that. They're just going to go in there and they believe that they can just win them.
They're going to do like Kamala. They're going to throw a lot of parties and have a lot of dancing and twerking and give out bear and chicken and hope that people buy into that.
They aim at big time. Not we know better than that. Now, we can eat your chicken. We can eat your chicken. We can eat your fish. We can eat everything that you bring in. Just keep bringing the plate. bring lobster too. But let me tell you something. They ain't buying that. See, the damage is so deep within the Bahamian people right now. That's what the problem really is. The irreparable damage. And the people, my friends, our people are not well. Our people are half sick. Most of them are half sick.
Yeah.
About 60 something percent of people are now sick in this
Wow.
country, you know. I'm telling you, ask the insurance companies there, let them give you the report. They're sick. And let me tell you what that means. They're miserable, they're sick, they ain't got no money, things are bad, and you all talking fool. Listen, man, understand some things. Them things don't play.
Yeah.
Them things can't work for you. You need a miracle. And if you'd done a good job from a long time ago, you would have had your miracle right now. 3 years and running, you'd have been in there like cheese. No big deal. You big man. But you all did fool. You did fool. You're changing cabinets, you're changing this, you're changing that. You didn't do the right thing. You're changing your shuffle, your cabinet, you put the same people back. All kind of nonsense you've done. And you expect people to just say, we can swallow that. We can swallow that too. We can swallow that. No, yeah, you give us some contracts. But are the people being paid?
See, let me just say this. You know, sorry, I haven't been introduced yet, but let me
go ahead. We're open lining today. So
all right, awesome.
Feel free to call me.
So this is Lincoln Bay. If anyone listening, I just want to. Well, before I start here, I'm just gonna let you know that if I happen to misspeak, you know, or anything today, I have not even eaten breakfast yet. I was trying to hurry up, eat some Snickers. That's why I was letting you talk. I was glad you was talking.
Yes.
Trying to eat some. You know, that's not professional or for any talk show, but try to get some vitamin and Snickers inside me. So if I happen to misspeak, I was just trying to go through fumes on the last live I was on before I came here. So if I misspeak, it's automatism, and just bear with me. But we've been going, and this is how our days have been for several weeks now, because a lot of people are having issues, and you know, not even 1% of what we deal with makes the public. You know, we deal with stuff on a daily basis with people, and sometimes people can't even get me when they call, and they get frustrated. But that's how much stuff we're dealing with on a daily basis. I just want to say, in terms of the government's the headline in the papers today. In terms of the headline in the papers today, the government, you know, getting ready for the next election. Any real government, Steve, does not have to campaign.
I know.
Any successful government does not even have to spend a minute campaigning.
Been there, done that.
Because their work is their campaign.
Right,
and the election is the referendum on their work.
That's all it is.
It's simple as that. So if they have to start campaigning this far out from election, that means they know they've failed. Yeah. So now what they got to do is put on parties, and they got to offer contracts and bribe people with promises, and they got to give out the little $50 and $10, $200 that they stole from you during the election campaign. But a real government does not have to campaign. And the fact that they're talking about going into campaign mode shows that they have failed.
Yeah, I believe so. That I think that I was saying it all along. You know, I think that see some of them, most of them have failed. Fred Mitchell has not really failed because he's been the one out there saying to them, you got to do this, you got to do that. But they have not been listening to him. I don't know why they've not been listening to him, because what he says is wisdom to them. But they have been, from day one, I watched him, you know, I watched Mitchell. I watched Mitchell say, but this and that, next thing, and he's telling them all, and he even read the right act to some of them. But you see, at the end of the day, every man for himself. Let me tell you what he said in the papers today. This is quite interesting, right? This is what Mitchell said in the papers today. He said, there's been an assessment, constituency by constituency. There's been an assessment, constituency by constituency, of people and their performances, as members of parliament, That's what he said to ZNS News. Now, let me tell you why he's saying that. That's been his whole mantra. He's been saying that to them from day one. And it's right there in the first paragraph to show you that he no lie. So you see, there are people who were trying with them, they wasn't listening.
Now,
Like
Fred
they
Mitchell,
don't, like they don't listen to anyone who makes any kind of sense.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to them. So they got shot in the foot.
Fred Mitchell has two roles. One of his roles we didn't vote for him for, and we're not paying him for that. That's chairman. So what you're talking about is his role as chairman.
Yes, it's
and
chairman.
So whether he was successful as chairman or not, that's between him and the PLP. But in terms of his public role as the Minister for Foreign Affairs, I think that he has failed. In terms of being a diplomat for this country, etc., I think that he has failed. In terms of a member of parliament for Fox Hill, I think he's failed. The people of Fox Hill are suffering.
Even though he's been going around traveling the world and all that kind of stuff.
Traveling the world without results is failure.
Okay.
All right. And so if you run in 100 meters, to just say you went on the track and ran, that isn't success.
No, that's true.
All right. We have seen no results from what they've been doing around the world. They've been traveling and spending our money lavishly with no results. Okay. He has not been a diplomat. He has been viciously attacking persons, unreasonably, name calling, lied. When we had a protest in Miami, he went and sent a statement out to the media, lying about the situation at CARICOM, lying. And that's a failure for a diplomat. That alone in any other country, he would have been relieved of his duties immediately.
Understood.
I think this entire government has failed.
Well, that I cannot disagree with you on. I believe that many of them have failed in many things. You're right about it being the party chairman. That's a different story. But at the same time, I was just making that point that he had been the one telling them this is what they have to be doing, and they didn't listen. So they didn't listen to him there. They're not listening to him in the diplomatic circles, and maybe that's why he's not been performing as well as he should be performing. Now, he's been there for 12 years. This is that will be 12 years come the end of this time around in the office, and he's been living high on the hog, traveling the world and all that kind of stuff. You're right to say that they have not been performing at the end of the day because we don't see any results and returns from what they've done away in the world. To say Dubai, for instance, they were supposed to bring some stuff back here from Dubai and all this technology. I don't see anything. You see anything?
Nothing.
So that's what I'm saying. So and then they travel in these squadrons, all these young men with these tighter pants on. That it's unfortunate.
Yeah. I think he's failed because he's hired a bunch of alleged homosexuals to work in that ministry.
Yeah, they
and even people in that ministry are complaining. And I have no problem with someone's sexual preference. This is my business. I don't care about people's personal lives. But when your public decision seems to be skewed because of that, if persons are being hired because they are homosexual and they're getting an advantage over a heterosexual young man, we got to stand up for our heterosexual young men. All right? You should not be doing anything because of your leaning. You represent all Bahamians.
Absolutely.
And so that's what we've been seeing. Steve, though, I'm going to play a little clip for you from the news that shows the failure of the government. And I think everyone missed this last week, Steve. Everyone missed this. It was on the news, it was said, but it didn't hit anybody. I want you to hear this, and then I can show people what it didn't hear. Just 39 seconds. They were talking about the case where the young man who had accused the minister of knocking him down, the police officer.
Yes.
He attempted last week. He attempted to commit suicide.
I saw that.
The media ran away from that, and the news.
In the papers
yes, it finally got in the paper.
Yeah.
I dealt with that from last week.
You dealt with it last week, and then
last week Sunday.
Yes, I know.
So now this a week and a day later, it gets in the paper. But we dealt with that from last week, and it's sickening, He attempted to commit suicide. Now, here's a part of where they were talking to Wayne Monroe, but it's not what he said about it. It's what the Minister of Health said after him. That is important. Listen to this, Steve.
The Minister of Health making noise again about something like that?
Listen.
Anyway.
Issues when they're suffering legal problems and challenges, that can tend to affect you mentally.
There has been an increase in the number of suicides and attempted suicides reported in the country. Health Minister Michael Darville recently revealed there are as many as 400 suicide attempts a year.
I've seen in the police reports too many attempted suicide reports.
Now, that's him saying he's seeing too much. That's Wayne Monroe saying he's seeing too many suicide reports. And the minister literally said that there are over. So, in other words, he said basically, since this New Day government, there's been an increase in suicide reports.
Yes.
And there's over, not suicides, attempted suicides and suicides.
Mm-hmm.
And there's over 400. That means that we would have more murders than suicide if some of them were successful. Some of them, their family saved them. They got them to the hospital in time and they were able to revive them. Over 400 people
That
a
tells you
year.
the state of disrepair that we're in.
How is the headline of the papers not that, Steve? How? Let me hear your papers for a second. Let me look and see what the headline was. We got the minister said over 400 people a year trying to kill themselves under this New Day government. Give me another one.
They're not interested.
That's not a paper.
Yeah.
This is Tribune and Guardian. Let's see what the headlines are. Family argues over land.
Mm-hmm.
That's the headline. That's the big story.
Yeah.
A family
story. That's the lead story.
That's the lead story. Family argues over land. That's the big story. All right. All right. Then you have a rattlesnake sighting in Eleuthera. They see a snake in Eleuthera. That's another headline story.
Mm-hmm.
Union set to meet on strike. Family Island population in decline. Jesus, that's the headline. That's the big stories. Over 400 people trying to kill themselves in this country. PLP makes this another paper, The Guardian. They always promote the PLP. That's what they're doing now. PLP makes ready for next election. That's the headline. That's the big story in the big bowl with a picture of Braven. PLP makes ready for next election. Why is that a headline story? That's what every party should be doing. Jesus. PM outlines measures to lower cost of living. Jesus, I hope we could talk about that today, Steve. PM outlines measures to lower cost of living. That's a big story. All right. Pintard says PM is out of touch. Oh, that's the headline. Police probe in Trinidad. Over 400 people trying to kill themselves.
I get your point. But that doesn't make the headline because the media is not interested in that. That means nothing to them. Generally speaking, straight across the board, it means nothing to them. They may have their views and all that, but it's almost gossipy things for them. They want to be in the sweet gossip kind of thing. But that's a real big story because what it says to you, if you already paint the picture of that, it means then that we are a country that is on the brink. And not only that, we just had the COVID situation. We had all this drama with the hurricane and all that. See, a lot of people never caught themselves. This country is ripe for us to go and really give the psychological treatment to the people and the nation straight across the board.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is weak and vulnerable right now.
Yes.
No one, not a single columnist has written a headline says that people are so weak and vulnerable right now that anything can happen. People are on the brink. They will cuss you just because you said hello to them.
Mm-hmm.
That's how bad things are.
Mm-hmm.
The country is deteriorating.
Mm-hmm.
But the people who are in charge of the country, they are not paying attention to it because that's not their business. They're not interested in it. But we are all God's children, and we should be able to understand that we are in a different mode right now. Something ain't right with this country. We've got to fix this country. The preacher should be talking about something got to fix this country. The politicians should be doing the same thing. The social workers. But everything is now coming into one big thing, and it's just a crazy, haywire thing. Mm-hmm. All things are not working well.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very, very crying shame, because what it really means is that you're right. The people who are hang themselves, the people can take shots and end up killing themselves. The people don't care. That spills over into the crime situation because people just riddle you with a gun because they're angry. They're angry. They're mad. And so that's what's going to happen. So the government needs to step forward and take control. They have to do it. They're the ones. They're the legislators. They've got to do more than they're doing.
Yes.
We're sitting back like we just ain't got no sense. Something is wrong with that. And that's one of the reasons why I have to put pressure on them and say, listen, you all think it bad now. You ain't seen nothing yet. Because if Lincoln Bain and them do what they're supposed to be doing and they're getting the people, why do you think people are gathering to you all so much? They're gathering because they figure that this is the only way out. The people, they recognize, they said, boy, I see a little hole over there. I make a go in there, penetrate my way through that, and get out through there. And that's what they see the COI as. That hole right there in the fabric, they want to get out and bust out into the world. But they don't see, they see all around them blackness, pitch blackness.
Mm-hmm.
They see from the PLP and the FLM pitch blackness. That's what they see. And they can't get in the way out. Because them big boys up there hogging up everything. So these fellas, them who got some sense, you know, they're saying, let's penetrate over there. Let's go to that little hole. See that little hole over there? We can go through there. We can get through there. That's what's happening. And why? Because immigration is a big problem.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to deal with immigration. Trump had to deal with immigration. Trump did the right thing when he dealt with immigration. And he won. You know why he won? Because there was a big problem. People in Arkansas and all them places. Their whole thing is that, you know, these people come here to eat our dog and things. See, you may say that's bad, but he did that. But let me tell you, he knew what he was saying, you know. And he did everything right to make sure the people got the message. He didn't hide anything. We've got to handle the same thing here in the Bahamas because our situation is just like the American situation. We have the immigration problem. We have the crime problem. We've got all these problems in this town where prices are too high. We can't afford them.
Mm-hmm.
The cost of living is too high. Everything is going high, and we're getting no more money. So what you're talking about, that's what Brave them got to deal with. And I don't know how they're going to do it. That's what they got to deal with, to convince people that we are still the way.
Steve, I want to pause you there
Mm-hmm.
because Brave Davis talked about the cost of living, all right? And he gave some solutions that really offended some people. I mean, they were just so
I heard them, man.
idiotic. I won't even waste the time to repeat them.
We got to talk about it.
Yeah. And so these solutions he gave were not solutions at all. Wi-Fi in the park is a solution to the cost of living. I want to tell you one of the biggest costs, reasons that the cost of living increased in this country. And see if it is illegal immigration. And it's what the Americans realize, because people in America are saying that their cost of living increased because the housing, because if you bring in 15 million people all of a sudden, you did not bring in extra housing. You didn't build extra housing that these people could afford. Where are they going to live? They took the houses. And so now the housing prices have increased. And it happened all over, right? In Canada, they're having the same problem. Trudeau just had to change the rules and reduce how much immigrants they bring in, all right? And that's illegal immigration. And that's because they are housing a 2-bedroom houses now around $3,000, over $3,000. There are people paying $4,000. That's not for luxury homes. That's just the norm.
Yeah.
And so this is ridiculous. And they're saying it's because
how many more can you take?
They increased by millions of people, but they didn't increase the housing. And the same thing happened here in the Bahamas. And so in the Bahamas, they allowed these under the Brave administration, which was a carbon copy of the Biden-Kamala administration in every way. The homosexuality and the culture increased. It was prevalent. The illegal immigration was assisted and prevalent. And so they allowed them to flood in by airplane and by boat. And the media is controlled to not report on the ones coming in by boat now. But everyone at the airport can see. And that's why we have strong support at the airport, because they feel like this country is going to be gone. Everyone can see every Tuesday and Saturday, the Bahamas airline full of them. And then every day, the other airlines are coming in full of these people. And so they can see it. And so this is where a major part of the problem is. You can't find a 1-bedroom in this town right now, Steve, right in Nassau, probably, $1,100, $1,200.
My Lord.
We went to Abaco, and I don't know if you had a chance to watch the one we did in the shanty town. Because what they're doing is they're pretending to break down the shanty towns. And the media is cooperating with them by just blasting across the paper, demolished or mission accomplished, like they're demolishing the shanty towns. No, they're not. They seem to be going into the shanty towns, selectively choosing houses, getting housing for the people who live there through our social service ministry, getting housing for
Getting them
those
sorted
people,
out, then they knock
getting them
out.
sorted out, and the ones who they get sorted out, then they knock them down. If they didn't get them sorted out, they just leave them. All right? And so a lot of them were left in Abaco because there's no
Conspiracy,
housing
man.
there.
It's a
And they're
serious
using
thing.
our resources.
Yes,
We are paying those social services
exactly.
officers to work for us, to find us housing, to help us. They went there and broke down a Bahamian's house with 5 children. A Bahamian broke down his house in that area. He's been there for over 30 years, which means he actually owns the land.
Yes, of course.
Legally.
Yes.
All right?
Mhm.
They broke him down and left the Haitians who right next to him. When I say next to him, not down the road, like
Right
literally next to him. You could put 1 foot in his yard, 1 foot in theirs. Left them. I spoke to the Haitians who live there, and they said, yeah, they came there, they marked it to break it down. And then when he went there to see what's going on, they told him, man, don't worry about nothing. Don't worry about nothing. They done gone, meaning the media and all the attention done gone. They ain't do nothing. That's it. Others told us that they were told to go to social services, and because they didn't find housing for them, they're not going to break them down.
So this is the conspiracy that they have going on in the country, and all this is because they want to make sure that these people can vote for them.
Yeah, I've been saying this, Steve,
I know you've
but
been
we
saying
wanted you to hear it from, when I say you, I mean the Bahamian people. We wanted you to hear it from their mouths. Yeah, the government, they gave us a break. They were helping us, and then the Bahamian who was there, they told them to go to social services too, But then when they got into social service, they say y'all got to pay. You got to pay $500-$600 for us to go look for a house for y'all. What kind of sick country is this we living in? All of this is documented. It's right on my page. It's sick, Steve. What is this? What Bahamas is? This is truly a new day, but what Bahamas is this?
Well, I don't know what this is. I know this. I can feel it from where I sit. People are very upset.
Yeah.
They are so upset. I don't know even how to even put that in words. The people are upset.
Yeah.
Now they in their particular groups, the PLPs I'm talking about, they may feel as if their people ain't upset because they're talking to just their base. They're talking to their people. If their people ain't upset, well, how can you blame them? They can't be upset because they get contracts.
Their base is very upset, Steve.
I know their base is upset, but all in all, they are catering to their base and they're saying that.
Yes.
And they look like they're even warning them now that we're getting ready for election come January. See, the whole idea, they want to get the nominations and all that kind of thing. You see, like they are announcing it in the public paper, the Guardian, because they want their own people to know what's happening because they ain't even talking to their people. That's what it is, If they were talking to their people, they don't need to put that in the headlines of the Guardian.
You know what else it is, Steve?
People that know that
exactly.
We can have that in January.
But you know what else it is? That's telling them, listen, we getting ready for election, and you're getting these contracts and thing now, so you better come back on board because we gotta win this. You can't let the F&M come or you're gonna be hungry. So that's to help get them in line.
What clowns we have. What clowns we have. This is Hard Coffee. We're talking with Lincoln Bain today. He's just back from Abaco, and we're going to talk about some things that happened in Abaco. There was a young lady who was named down there in Abaco, and I saw her for the very first time. And she is also a very, very brilliant candidate. She's going to be running in North.
South Central. Crystal Williams.
That's
everyone in Abaco knows her.
Yeah, that's Crystal Williams.
Because she's been fighting for Abaco. Yeah. Doing these lives and standing up, also getting victimized in the meantime.
Yeah.
But fighting nonetheless.
Okay. And then of course you named also Kyle Mills. You see, everybody I was like, when I saw that, I said, something, that's a very encouraging sign because what that does, it motivates other people who are in the public domain to look closely at the Lincoln Bain factor and see how best they can get involved to help and to bring about the change that is needed in this country.
Yes.
See, the truth is we do need the change. Now, I would not be sitting here at this radio station live today telling you that we need to change. We need a change. change of the people's heart, a change of the mindset of the politicians, the average politicians today in the Bahamas. They have gone backward. They're not on top of the situation the way they ought to be.
Yes.
They're not governing the country. They're not doing the right things. And you have to question what the hell they're doing, because we don't see what they're doing. And we can't accept what they're doing. These are the wrong things that they're doing.
Yes.
And so as a result of that, that's one of the reasons why people are telling you every day, all on the buses. See, I ride the buses and all that.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
What you mean? It take me long to get up on the bus thing, but
yeah.
I get up on the bus thing.
Wow.
And I'm telling you, the people on the buses are saying some serious stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They are cussing.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even repeat what people saying.
Mm-hmm.
So see, I do this because this is the election campaign. I need to know what's going on. So
Yes.
nobody could tell me nothing.
Yes.
I want no one to say nothing to me from them people down in the parliament. They don't know what the hell's going on. The buses out there, and yes, a lot of them are Haitians. Yes, a lot of them are Bahamians. And yes, the Bahamians are on them buses. They're saying it loud and clear. When Brave try this thing, he gonna get the biggest stoke in his life. I heard all kind of people saying that. This is the different buses,
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're saying. I tell you, you feel it from the ground. I feel it from the ground. I'm telling you what's happening. I'm not going to be surprised if, in fact, they get the biggest cut behind in their life in the same dispensation right now.
Yeah, and I think the elections in America shows what happens. The Democrats campaigned on just smearing one man.
Yeah.
And they thought that people would just not vote for him because they don't like him.
Yeah.
And so they spent all of their time trying to vilify him and saying some stuff. And then some stuff, I mean, it is true. I mean, no one is perfect. I mean, no man in the Bible except Jesus didn't have faults. You could smear anyone in the Bible,
right.
And so they said some things about him that was true and some that wasn't true. But that was their whole campaign. And that's the problem. And so I saw after the election, CNN, and MSNBC, they're trying to recover. And someone on CNN, one of a Democrat, actually said that basically what happened was, and I'm just repeating verbatim what he said, an FU vote, where the people said FU to the current administration because they were in La La Land. They were throwing parties and
they were foolish.
Yeah,
they were talking about issues that didn't make any sense to evangelical Christians. They were talking issues that didn't make sense to anybody, not the average man. This lady, Camila, or what her name is, Harris, her whole thing was that, listen, we are talking about this and talking about that. She didn't even know if she was Asian or black.
Yeah.
All these little things. See, I told someone today, you cannot go into no election and you ain't know who your identity is.
Mm-hmm.
You either a black woman or you're an Asian woman.
Mm-hmm.
You pick your choice.
I know who I am.
But you can't be running.
An all man.
See, and that's what's happened. See, she was mixed up.
Yeah.
And people know that she was mixed up, and then she running with this gay agenda thing. I mean, that's the wrong thing. Where you going with that?
Yeah.
You can't sell that publicly.
Yeah, and so the same thing that this administration is doing, they're just sending people out to attack, their enemies viciously, spread lies and that kind of stuff. And they have no policy. They have nothing.
No policy.
They are flamming their way through. You just PR and no results.
Yeah.
No real results.
Here it is, Dr. Davo. I mean, it's amazing how Dr. McGiver has been on his case. I mean, she's a tremendous lady. Okay? I'm not saying that because you're here. I'm telling you, she's a tremendous lady.
Yes, she is.
Here's a woman who sticks to the gun and she researches a thing and she goes after him and she put it in his lap and he can't answer. He cannot answer.
Yeah.
He's been doing a terrible job in trying to answer her. He will be the first person to be beaten by the people in this election,
Yeah.
He has been a failure, a total failure.
And we just sent a candidate down there to deal with him, and that is Mr. Trevor Green. He was initially
he gone and tall
Vines, yes.
My goodness.
So we've sent our Shadow Minister of Education, very educated young man, master's degree in education. He also has degrees in computer science, CIS, etc. And he is very educated. He's not a he is not a showman, but he is a very educated technocrat who we would love to have in.
I interviewed him.
Yes,
in the show.
Yes, in there. So he was initially sent to South Andres, but then the council decided that they wanted to move him to a Nassau seat, Tall Pines, where he is, because we want to make sure we're most efficient. Yeah. And because he's in Nassau, we didn't want him campaigning over there in South Andres. So we decided to make a shift. We're going to be a very efficient government. You know, we're not going to be, I'm afraid, to do what is right and to make the changes that we need.
Well, best you make those changes now when you get, and you find the right people. See, I believe that what's happening right now, because of people like Kyle, because of people like the same gentleman you're talking about from Andres,
yes,
you're seeing a new flux of people coming up and making themselves ready and prepared.
What you're seeing is what you've never seen before. Persons who are not interested in politics have never been, but these are real qualified Bahamians who said enough is enough. Yeah. All of them would have never, even probably a year ago, dreamed that they would be dealing with politics. They were not interested.
You know what I like about the whole part too? The people aren't afraid. See, that's an indicator for everybody, every man, woman, beast, and child to know this. The people aren't afraid. They're stepping out now. 3 years out, they're stepping out and saying, I'm running. Now, why is that happening? These are people with no names. These are people who people know. And they say, I'm running. Now, why would that be done at this time when, in the past, we always like, I can't run now. Don't call my name yet. I got wait. That ain't happening now.
Yeah.
What's actually happening now that everybody is jumping to get into this position because they now know that they ain't scared no more. That's how bad things are.
Pain moves people more than anything else in this world. That's what really moves people. It's pain. And the pain of the people is going to cause them to remove the PLP and FNM. And it's the pain of some of those people who said, I got to put myself forward. The people we've been voting for have been failing. I have skill, I have talent, I'm coming forward. Not because I'm interested in politics, but because I have something to contribute. And that's what we're seeing. And that's what I'm proud of with these people that I'm seeing coming forward.
Could you imagine all these other people who are looking down the road? And some choice seats have already been taken, so to speak. But of course, it's good to hear that you are still looking at contemplating whether or not this one will be the best match for this or the candidates that you're
Yes, of course.
And so that's a good thing because what it means is that, and that should be said straight across the board, because no man is an island. And if the fella come along the way and he just got that feeling now that he's ready to do this thing and he's come, you've got to make sure that you got a place for him because that may be the man right there. That's what I'm saying. So it's wide open.
Yes.
And that's a good thing.
Yes.
And if only the PLP was able to do that kind of stuff, but they've already got their people shortlisted and they 3 and 4 or 5 they would choose for them, all kind of stuff. You got to take people who are serious about the constituency, who live in the constituency, and who means well for the constituency. That's what I'm thinking.
We've already ratified officially 21 candidates. So that's 21 candidates we've officially ratified. And we have some more who have actually been ratified that we haven't announced. All right. And so we have more than, 21 has been announced to the public, I should have said, but we have a few more that have already been ratified that we're going to put out there soon. And so we're running a full slate of 39, just in case persons want to know. We're running a full slate of 39. And if they add more seats, we will run more. We're hearing rumors that they may take it up to 43 seats. We will run 43 if they add to 43. And we're proud of those persons who decided to come forward so early. A lot of them have a lot to lose. They have a lot to lose because they are successful Bahamians. And but they decided that we could lose a country. So them being successful in their business or their practice won't help if you've lost the whole country.
Absolutely.
And they're aware of the victimization and it's real. All right. And so they decided, despite the victimization, they're going to do it, and I just came from the hospital where a nurse was just suspended because she defended her grandchildren. she was told that her grandson was in hospital, and she went in there and she saw his state and she decided to take a picture of him. And so this spiteful, evil government, they just looked for something that they could get her with. They said that they are suspending her. I was there with her all day. We were there all day from
That's
this
when
one.
you were at earlier
Yes,
today.
yes. When you
Nobody
were trying
could
to
reach
call
you.
me, yeah.
Mhm.
And so we were dealing with the PHA team first and going back and forth with them. And then afterwards, they wanted us to meet with their lawyers. And so we met with their lawyers afterwards. And this was an all day. They had us waiting, and it was crazy. But when I talked to them, it's like they're just following orders. It came from up top,
So
and they
what?
just, doesn't matter if it's legal or not. So I said to them, they said that they're suspending her and they have a right to suspend her. I said, no, no, no. Your act is in front of you. Their policy was in front of them. I said, this says that you could only suspend someone who committed was suspected of committing a major offense. This is not a major offense. All right. This a woman came. She was not a nurse at the time. She's not on duty at the time. She came in there to visit her grandchild that she just heard
Yes.
was there,
Mhm.
and she took a picture of him.
Yes.
She didn't send it to the public. She sent it to the mother. Now she is the legal guardian of this child because the mother turned the children over to her.
Yes, yes.
So she sent it to the mother, not to the public. That was for private use of the parents, the
Understood,
guardians of
understood.
the child.
Understood. But they still
There's
spite her.
nothing wrong with that. They could have made a judgment call and said, you know what, okay, we understand the situation. She sent it only to the mother. The mother decided that no, 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 no. I have to show the world what's going on with my children. I gotta fight for my children. And it reminded me of the Emmett Till story, where the young 14-year-old boy was visiting family down in the south, and when he's coming back up, they killed him. All right, they murdered him brutally. I mean, beat him, bust his head open, and it's supposed to be a closed casket by the way they did him. And the mother said, "No, I need the whole world to see what they did to my child." She said, "I could not describe what's in that box. I needed them to see it." And because she took that action, the responsible action, and she got a lot of criticism, Steve. Everyone said, "Why would you do that? That's disgusting. They talk about her bad." But that one move she made by actually showing the evil is what transformed the civil rights movement. People saw it, and by seeing what happened to that little boy, that transformed the movement and empowered people like Martin Luther King, etc., that changed everything. And in short order, the law had to be signed. All right. And so that grandmother had a duty. And I'm saying to everybody, don't be afraid, don't be ashamed. If you see your child in a situation like that or your loved one, you have to take the records. There's even a time to break the law. Dr. Martin Luther King always used to say it. All right, there's a time for everything. And if someone breaks into your house, you got to kill them, right? Killing isn't right. But if someone breaks into your house and they're coming to rape your children and rob you, you got to do what you got to do. All right? There's just laws and there's unjust laws. And if there is a policy, because we're not talking about a law here, it's just a policy. If there's a policy that says a mother, because she was a guardian, can't take a picture of their child that she believed was abused, then that law is not to be followed.
So where do you think this cover up is coming from? I mean, because
The
obviously
covering up is coming because the children's father is Miles LaRoda, the MP, his son. Same name. Yeah, same name. All right. So it's Miles LaRoda Jr., his children.
Oh my
But the
goodness.
mother she went to the States because one of the sons has Down syndrome and he needs special care. So she went to the States, and then someone lied on her and said she tried to knock them down. And so she was in jail pending, because she's a flight risk, for about a year. She couldn't take care of her children while she was in jail.
Oh, I see.
And so she signed an affidavit and everything for the children to be turned over, because she couldn't leave because she had the court matter.
Right.
To turn over to her mother. So her mother came over. They did an affidavit, signed it, notarized, and everything is registered. And the kids were turned over to her care. All right, including these two. There was 4 in total. And she eventually won her case because they saw where the person was outright lying. And she won her case. But now she's stuck in America. She applied for her status, etc., so she can't move. And so the grandmother, being a good grandmother, wanted the father to have access to the children. And so she was letting the father, keep the children, etc., etc. But then it came to the point where the father kept the children, and now one of the boys is making certain accusations, about abuse and that kind of stuff. And so that's where the problem comes in.
That's where you were all day today, trying to resolve.
And so we were fighting for her because we believe, because the prime minister even commented, because it went viral, everyone was talking about it, and the prime minister commented that he heard about the child abuse matter and is being addressed. All right, they're addressing the matter, and so it seems like to address the matter, what they did was decide to victimize her.
So she was fired.
She was suspended.
Suspended.
All right, so they suspended her. They're gonna do the investigation, and then they're gonna try to fire her. All right, and so that's where the conversation seems to be going. But when we spoke to the lawyers after dealing with the PHA, we spoke to the lawyers, and the lawyers were like, it's oops, because they didn't realize she was the one who the mother turned the children over to,
yes,
and that she was the one who brought the children to the Bahamas. They didn't realize, so it seems like oops, but it's too far gone. The people at PHA said, we just following instructions. We got this from up top. And so that means,
what you mean you got this from up top? I don't want to hear that. That's nonsense.
Yep. That's
because
what they got.
If they got something from up top, so what if you got it from up top? You are the caregiver. You are the person who is supposed to be taking care of this child who's been abused, whatever it is. Do your job.
Yep.
Hear it from up top. I don't want to hear that.
Yes.
Anyway, I've got to run to a break and pay the bill. 6:31 is the time. When we come back, we'll talk more about KYMOs and other issues that we have on the agenda today, because, it seems to me that Bain and company are making some serious moves, and it's got some people upset in many ways. Some of these things you can't even explain how it is that they are so upset. But it looks as if some things are actually happening with the opposition force and, of course, the PLP, the governing party. We'll see how it goes. See what happened there. They're announcing that they have an election. They headline in the papers today all the other issues, like the people who killing themselves, hanging themselves, committing suicides. That didn't make a headline, even though it got 400 people thereabouts in that association right now. High numbers of deaths, suspected deaths, and even deaths by suicide. I mean, how come? Is our people just losing the way? Are we really down and out? So much so that we will just leave the world by a rope? What is going on with us? These are the beginning of changes that will happen in our country. I tell you, the Lord God is watching this country. And he is watching these leaders. And he is watching these persons who call themselves the Christian, to make sure that they're going to be judged first. You know what I tell you? That's what's going to happen. That's the order of business. That's the order of business. We run to a break. We're coming back. I gotta go run to the bathroom.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we're on a commercial break. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on a commercial break, so we'll be right back. I know some of you saw me eating and drinking while doing the live. I'm sorry, didn't have any breakfast or anything, so I'm trying to guess myself and keep going. Get some breakfast when we're done with the show after 7 p.m. All right, so just stay tuned. We're just gonna take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back. Y'all don't go nowhere. We got some more to talk about. Just trust me on that. Don't go nowhere.
And I start with a document released by Tenneco. It's a Tenneco 1986 internal report. States that the oil projections in the Bahamas are anywhere from 4 billion to 17 billion barrels. In 1986, Lyndon Pindon gave Tenneco authorization to drill 7 exploratory wells. The names of those wells are Manta Base, Sand Shark, Bluefin, Lionfish, Blue Marlin, Grouper, and Hammerhead. Now, findings. Manta Bay estimated 1.447 billion barrels.
So the first question most people ask is, why are you in the Bahamas? And there's some sort of presumption that it's about palm trees and beaches and cocktails, but actually we're in the Bahamas because it's a very, very, very prolific oil-producing region. There were, as I'll get into in a few minutes, there are historical wells. It's in a very prolific oil-producing region. There's been a 3D seismic campaign.
Lionfish, estimate 0.94 billion barrels. Grouper estimates 6.492 billion barrels. Hammerhead estimate 1.007 billion barrels. Total amount of barrels estimated 17.063 billion barrels. Bahamas 3D seismic test and what was discovered. 1. 3 traps identified as fulls of where oil has accumulated. 2. These traps rival those of the Middle East in size. 3. The Bahamas' oil potential is as big as those of the Middle East. What has happened with the natural resources of the Bahamas, especially oil? The oil resources of the Bahamians are worth tens of trillions of dollars.
We're at the point where we have to drill a well, and we have to get going on the drilling of that well by April 2017.
We are the government of the day, and we will lead as we see fit. It is what it is.
Safety, you are safe because you will be engaging the tools that make yourself safe.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Let me just say that I have always been a part of this community. And there's no accident I know how to do all the dancing. Because I always be and share with you. Because you are me and I am you. And I'll be here with you always. And those who knew me from the past and know me now, they always knew that I was there and always been there for you. I don't call you all, you all are not Haitians, Bahamians. You are Bahamian, and your origin is Haitian. Mine too, and many of us. We have to stay apart for now so we can be together later. You know now.
Are you all ready and willing to go?
I don't know how you did this in 50 years. You look at history. Who does this? Show me anybody else that has done this in 50 years. I'm waiting. Show them to me. This wasn't done by money. Money doesn't produce visions. Visions produce money. You've had leadership over here that were visionaries, great visionaries, and their vision was more about the people than the money, because you can't accomplish this in 50 years without loving your people first, because the people are the ones that's benefiting from this. Look at your health care. Look at your road system. Look at your highway system. Look at your airports. Who does this in 50 years? But who benefits? You're going to care about those people. It's something to be learned about what's been done over here that could be duplicated in the world, because it's people with this much money. You just don't have people with this much love for their people. What happened in Dubai with the citizens?
Monarchy, and monarchy take care of their people and make sure that they paid 2,000 per family, maybe 3,000. And life is cheaper there. Life is cheaper, but all the Dubai citizens are paid, very paid.
From who?
From the monarch, from the king.
From the king?
Yeah, from the king.
Wow.
Money comes in
through
the government. The government distributes the money to the people. And there are no poor people. They're like only
Dubai,
poor people in
you
Dubai
cannot be
are
poor.
those that came
No
from
poor
another
in
country.
Dubai.
No poor in Dubai.
Just like Kuwait. They get money, like almost like American Indian the casinos. The money goes out to the people. Okay? And the only poor people in Dubai or Kuwait are those who come from other countries to work for the citizens that are there.
Wow.
And in Israel, if you're a citizen, you get a lot of $10,000 and $50,000, but you have to wait per person.
Wow. Bahamas. It's happening around the world. The Bahamas.
Making some serious inroads, looking for the next government of the Bahamas. If they put 36 seats out there, they'll contest 36 seats. If they put 43 seats out there, they'll contest 43 seats. Whatever they do, they have to deal with the one Lincoln Bean, and he means that for sure. And that is actually the size of it all. So these days, in fact, you can call me if you want to. You've got about 15 minutes to call me. Let's say you can call me at 376-9234, or you can call me at 821-9234. We've got Lincoln Bean with us, and we're talking business today, especially the fact that he was down there over in Abaco. And Abaco had big promises for him this time around, my friends. Abaco produced 2 more, so he's now got from 19 to 21. And those 2 people are key because they are supposedly ready to win the seats in Abaco. Williams, and of course the other one is Kai Mills. And it's going to be quite interesting. We'll talk about all things right now in a minute. You can call me at 376-9234 or 812-9234, okay? Right now, here in a minute. Welcome back, Lincoln Bean. How you been?
I've been good, man. I've been good. I just want to say thank you to the people of Abaco. I just want to say thank you to the people of Abaco for welcoming us. It was phenomenal. The food was great. And I was actually surprised how many people came out. We ran out of room. There was standing room only.
Is that right?
Everyone who was there
Looked
was.
like you all had a good time. I saw it live on the video.
Yes, we had a really good time. It was very energetic and powerful. And people were there. Like I said, it was standing room only.
And you feel like you're gaining ground now.
Oh yeah, definitely. I've put Abaco in the 2 seats in Abaco in our winning column.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think we're going to win both seats.
Well, I like the fact that you gone with Kyle, and I know this lady. I heard about her, but I've never.
Crystal Williams, yes.
Crystal Williams, she's
very intelligent as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Entrepreneur, very successful entrepreneur, and she's always been fighting for Abaco. What was really eye-catching in that room was that there were people of all walks of life. There were rich people, there were middle-class people, there were lower-class people. There were people from all walks of life. There were Black people, white people, you name it. Yeah, mix of people in there. And it was a cross-section of Abaco, and it shows that they are tired. And I think that it is justifiable. How could the F&M do what they did to Abaco and without apologizing, at least coming back to just say, vote for us?
An apology is expected by them.
Yes.
Big time.
Yeah, and reparations.
Yes.
Because what they did, they made those people suffer after Dorian. They made them suffer so that they can benefit, right? Meaning the F&M and the oligarchs, the F&M and PLP oligarchs can benefit. They didn't build houses for them. Monies were donated by Baker's Bay to build 65 houses for the people of Abaco. They started 5 houses and never finished. To this day, 5 years later, they have not finished it. Neither the F&M nor the PLP has finished it. What they did to those people by keeping their family and friends in trailers for all that time. First, denying that they were in trailers. They denied it. And we had to come to, Kai Mills exposed it. And they called him a liar. Dwayne Sands, now chairman of the FNM, called him a liar. That is not the truth. He was the Minister of Health at the time. And people called me, and I went down there. I took Clint Watson with me, who was at Eyewitness News at the time. And we went to the trailer, and we could smell it. We could see the flies, et cetera, et cetera. And then the government had to admit that they were lying. All right. Minister had declared after, I think it was about, don't hold me to it, about a month after the hurricane, he had said that Abaco was back to 95% pre-Dorian levels. And so this means the NGO couldn't do more building and do more of what they were doing, et cetera, et cetera. They would have to leave. So the NGOs called for me. And I had to go down there and rescue those people to show that the government had done nothing, that nothing had really changed other than the stuff that the NGOs were doing. And the prime minister had to admit that he was lying. All right. What they did to those people, the FNM, and see, that's a cabinet. The cabinet knew when those supplies came in. Yeah. The cabinet knew how much money they had. So Pintard can't say, well, he wasn't the leader. That's a cop-out. You were in the cabinet. All right. And you could have spoken up for those people. There were 2 FNM MPs and 5 PLP. Sorry, 2 FNM MPs in Abaco and 5 FNM MPs in Grand Bahama. They did nothing for those people.
And there were 2 others that were hit.
Yes. Yeah. They're now building a shelter. And we have proper plans for our shelter. Proper plans that's based on UN specifications. But they're now building a shelter there. The expense went from, I think, 1.something million to now 4.8 billion. So $5 million. It just jumped since VLP got there. And there's a part of the roof that looks like it collapsed. The government is saying, oh, it didn't collapse. But the staff is saying that it collapsed and it had to come down. They're redoing it. And, there's a bunch of windows. Why are you putting a bunch of windows on the bottom floor of a hurricane shelter?
On the bottom floor?
Yeah. It makes no sense.
Anyway, see, you know how I feel about that. We wait too long to get these things done. Hurricane seasons come and go. The hurricane season is about to over in the next couple of days when this month comes up to an end. And we still ain't ready, and we still ain't going to be ready next year. The same things goes in circles, and there are too many problems that we're facing as a nation. But apart from all that, and we're looking at the candidates that you're looking at now. Just to explain that for me for a second here so that people can understand what it is that you're doing, why you would have gone with these 2 particular individuals in Abaco, and what's the head count when you're looking at down the road after you have done that part. You're going to go down to Andrews, I suppose, and do some new things, and then you're going to go to Lutheran, I suppose. What's happening? Because you seem to be now concentrating a whole lot on events that's supposed to happen for the country from the political end of making sure you got the right candidates in the right places to strike at all times on the right matters.
Yes. So we're putting together a strong team. All right. So politics, everyone can't be the same. You're going to have some activists and some more people that are rough around the edges to fight where they need to fight. You're going to have the intellectuals and the technocrats who can get things done, very educated. You're going to have some wealthy people and some middle class people. And you may have some regular people who are not wealthy. But we're putting together a solid team to address the changes we need in this country.
Okay.
What we want is a loyal team who's not going to sell out after election, and who, because that's very important, there's billions of dollars at stake, billions of dollars in natural resources and carbon credits. And so they're going to do anything to stop us from getting in there and letting the people benefit. And so we're putting a good team together who is going to be willing to take this country and give it to the people. We believe that we can govern ourselves better than we've been governed. That's what we believe. And so that's why our biggest thing that we're promoting is not, just benefiting from the natural resources. That's going to happen. But the biggest thing is we don't want you depending on a politician to make that happen. We want you to make it happen yourself. So what we're doing is we are going into office and we are going to create island states and city government. And that is going to transform everything. Mm-hmm. Because now the people and the PLP is busy trying to address things that they see us focusing on, because they see we have a lot of strength, and their political advisors are telling them that
Who was thinking them doing it?
Yeah. Just whatever you had him say, you gotta try to say it. Now you ain't gonna do it like them. You ain't gonna really do it, but just say it so it looks good. So they're talking about local government now. All of a sudden they doing something with the Local Government Act, and because they're saying, "Oh, we give you more power to do this and that," and they're lying to you.
Yeah,
right?
But you see, people then see through that because they have umpteen opportunities to do so. They never did it. They never even attempted until you came up and talked about this city governments and that kind of stuff. I mean, you know, let's face it. I mean, you know, we know things when we see them. Now, we can't put our finger on it and say, that's what they did. So, but we know that ain't your things. This come from another fellow who got a plan for this country, and he got a plan for many things in this country. And that's what the whole thing is all about.
And so for the people of Abaco, they have, and all the family islands, they are resonating heavily with island states and city government because, like, for example, $60 million is made by the airport alone of Abaco. Just the airport, Steve. And the airport is run down. The AC is never working. They don't have a radar, all these different issues with it. But if they could actually put their 60 million to use, wouldn't they have a fabulous, well-working airport?
They've got all the people in places right now, Lincoln Bean. I mean, they've got all the Frankie Wilson and all these people with the money. They've got the people who own cable. They've got all these people who can do some things to make things easier for the government if they would invest and do some things themselves to make the government even look good so they could be there for a long time and enjoy the benefits. But you see, no one is spending any money. They just keep taking.
It's because of the culture of corrupt politics in our country. They're not about spending their own money. They are about sucking money from the $3.5 billion that our government treasury gets every year. All right? And that's what they do. They mostly do the government projects in this country. And so the local oligarchs, etc., they are there to be in place they fund the politicians, and then the politicians finds ways through the government contracts to get money back to them. And that money comes from us, from taxes on our backs.
Indeed it does.
All right. And so it's the poor people from your salaries, etc. The government taxes you to death, and some taxes from tourism, but they tax us to death, and then they find a way to funnel that money to themselves. So they're not about doing anything. All right. They're not they're not very bright, to be honest with you. They're not sharp because you don't have to be smart to make money through corruption. They don't have great ideas. All they know is a government contract. Okay, yeah, let's build some road. And so we get nothing done. The country is not innovative. And the innovation should come from the people and from empowering the people. But the problem, Steve, is they can't empower us because if they empower us, then we don't need them. And that's where their political problem is.
Comes in with this whole thing with the new council, what they want to do now.
Yes.
They don't really want you to be in charge of anything.
No.
Because you want to spend the money and you can own your money and you can do.
Yes.
If they did that, that would have been something fantastic.
Yes. And the reason we
don't know if that's going to happen. We don't believe that's going to happen.
Right now, the money from the government goes to political cronies, political finances, and the oligarchs. All right. So the money from the government goes straight to them. So money is being dished out, but it's being dished out to them. And many times they don't even fulfill the contracts that they have. All right. That's why nothing is happening.
The clinics and all that thing is going to waste.
Yeah. And so we want to change it so that money from the natural resources goes to the people. Why do we want it to go to the people? Because the people are the ones with the great ideas. Most of the oligarchs' children, they just rich people children. They don't have no ideas. They didn't earn the money they have. They didn't through sweat get what they have. They didn't have to be innovative. They just born that way. They didn't even have to do good in school because they were going to be rich no matter whether they did good or not. But we believe that there's some people, there's someone right now in Beantown up all night studying, and he's jumping at the bits with a great idea, and he's so talented. And if he could have the funding and the capital to do what he is dreaming, that he can do that. There's someone sitting down right now in Pinewood Gardens with a dream, something that could benefit all of us in this country, you know. And if we could get the funding to these people through grants and through what they're entitled to, it's not giveaways. No one wants handouts. You getting your benefits is not a handout. That's yours. That's your money. All right. And if we could get the funding to the regular people, you could build the dreams of this nation. And that's how Dubai and Qatar and all these countries went from developing nation to developed nation, because they empowered their people and their people created the industries to make the country great. And so right now, the tourists are coming on the ship, but there's no reason to come off the ship because there's nothing to do. If we empower our people to build the attractions for these tourists, then more tourists are going to come off the ship, and we're going to own the tourism industry.
We just seem to have it backward. We just seem to have everything so backward. And it's only because our sights are being impaired by this whole corruption method. That's what it is. And so we can't even think straight.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean when I say we can't think straight, we can't do things straight, we can't be honest. And people look at this thing and say, honest. You got to be honest in politics, you know. There's such a thing. You got to be honest. You cannot be doing the nonsense that you're doing and expect to get away because you can pay at the end of the day, one way or the other, unless you try to thief the whole election. And that's the possibility. You could thief a whole election.
Yeah.
But the people know who you are and they ain't going to have no respect for you. You'll have a hard time convincing them that you were the ones who won the election.
Yeah.
It's a serious thing. I don't know how they're going to do what they're going to do, but I know this. They ain't got no chance in hell right now to win anything because of how they're acting and how they've been acting. If you see them reform their ways and really come to God and say, look, we reform our ways and we want to do better, that's going to be a hard push for even the people to accept.
Yeah.
That's how bad it's been.
Yeah. And there's so much that we could do. There's so much vision that we're going to release to the people starting early next year. There's so much vision we want to release. I said something in Abaco. I said that we shouldn't just be feeding ourselves, but we should be feeding the world. And someone said to me, man, don't say that because then they can say you're selling dreams. You can't feed the world. I don't mean feed every human being in the world. I mean start exporting our products. That's what I mean by saying that. But we have to think big. And it's like they're trying to tell you, man, just think small or the people ain't going to believe you. And they could just vote for garbage, continually vote for garbage because they just don't believe that they could have anything. No one who has accomplished anything in this world has thought small. We have to think big. We have to think that we can do better. All right. And that is what we are about. I am not gonna dumb down our ideas. I'm not gonna dream small because your politicians continue to make you dream small because they don't want to do nothing while they're keeping all the money. They only want to pave some road and then celebrate that and say, look how we paved the road. They just want to build a clinic and then look what we did with the clinic.
But you see, you talk about roads as if the roads are good. These roads are so holy and so bad and so terrible that people are fighting they don't fall in a pothole all the time. That's a constant thing in people's minds right now. And these little Japanese cars that they have, if they hit a hole, that's it for them.
Yeah.
See, people got to understand what is happening.
Yeah.
Your way of life has deteriorated. You've got to understand that.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk a little bit about Kai.
Right.
And Mrs. Williams.
Crystal. Okay, so Kai, everyone knows Kai in Abaco. Kai stood up for the Abaconians. He exposed a lot of corruption that was going on. And so he's been victimized a lot. He's been arrested. Like myself, he's been arrested a lot. But he earned his stripes. And so it's natural progression. All right. He's some people think he's rough around the edges because he's no nonsense and he speaks out. Sometimes they don't like how he does stuff. But he's a man that's standing up. And I think that's what we need. We need someone who's going to stand up, for Abaco and for the nation. Yeah. And so he's earned the stripes. He's educated a lot of Bahamians to what's going on, and he's not afraid. He has paid his dues by sleeping in a cell. He's even gone to Fox Hill prison, on remand, waiting, to be released on bail, because he's standing up. He was the one who started exposing these shanty towns, etc. He's been attacked, hit in his head with a hammer from Haitian when he was exposing what was going on. And so he's been attacked dealing with these situations. And so, I felt the need to go over there and take some of that load off of him and show what was really going on. But he has been exposing and showing what really happened, and he's ready to fight for Abaco. And he always wins elections down there for some reason. And I guess it's because, they see, some good in him. He is the president of the taxi union down there, a taxi association, and he's in local government, so he's voted in local government every time. So the people see him as someone who could represent him. So it was perfect, having him there as a candidate. A lot of people applied for North Abaco. A lot of people. I think, don't hold me to the number, but I think we had probably about 7 people apply for North Abaco for the COI. And but in the end, the council decided that they would go with him, and not his, but the Abaco executives wanted him, and so they picked him. Some people were concerned about whether he's too rowdy or whatever, that people don't accept it. But listen, man, we need
He
people
is who
willing
he
to
is,
speak up.
and he's a man who
Yeah.
stands up, and we
Yeah.
know we can trust him.
Yeah.
Because he has not published anything that's been unusual or
Yeah.
untrue.
Yeah.
It has been facts.
Yeah.
He's been publishing, and
And
he
so,
said,
yeah, and so we're looking to stand with him. He is going into presidential mode because all of us, we've decided that activism, we could go and protest until the kingdom come.
that's
But
not paying any
right.
dividends. You can
Right.
see that.
So now what we're doing is we protested and did activism to educate the people, to open their eyes, to bring attention to what was going on. We didn't expect the PLPOF for them to do what is right. We were doing it to bring attention to it so that everyone could know what was happening. And now we got to go in there and govern. And so we're going into governing mood. So we are planning for to run a government that's going to take the country to the next level. And so Crystal Williams was also during the lockdowns. People heard a lot of her. She was going live. She was educating the people. She's very articulate. She's very articulate, very smart young lady, a good entrepreneur, successful entrepreneur. And people know her and respect the fact that she was willing to put up that fight. She was arrested one day, and we put a message out there to the government: you better let her out now, or we come in Abaco. They let her out that evening, but she earned her stripes also. Right, she was victimized, etc. And so we believe that she is going to be a voice to stand up for them, because what happened to them, no one stood up for them. No one in the FNM, no one in the PLP, while they were going through what they were going through. Can you imagine all of those people in cabinet knowing that the supplies reached, that all this money was donated, and not one person stood up? Not Pintard, not Dwayne Sands, not no one. They kept their mouth shut, just to wait their turns to be puppets to oppress the people. And so, but she stood up. She was one of them that stood up. And so she decided to go to South Abaco, and it was natural progression. And so a lot of people from Abaco, they know her, they trust her. And as we saw from the people who came out, like I said, it was a full house. And the people are saying that they're ready. And Abaco is independent. They have their own branches already. And those persons are organizing themselves, fundraising, et cetera, et cetera. And so they are looking good. And so we're looking to move on to other islands now. So you're going to be seeing us release candidates for other islands soon. We're still looking for persons in some islands, but we're going to launch candidates in Abaco and Long Island, and Exuma. We're going everywhere. And so we're looking to take every single seat in this archipelago and give the power to the people.
How do you feel overall about things, the way things have been going? Because you've gone up front, you've set a tone, you've set the pace. You were the first one. There were 19 candidates that you already know that's going to be there, and you're willing to do more and more and more if you have to, because as the matter that takes, you'll abide by those things. And even Mitchell and those, they seem to be stutter stepping because they don't seem to understand exactly what time it is. And they even gone into the newspapers and announced that they're getting ready to call it election. Which tells you that when you really think of it, you got to laugh, because the truth is that ought not to have been there, because they supposed to be in election mode all the time. As you said. All these things are happening, and people don't understand what it really means. But we'll see. We got a caller, so good afternoon, caller. How are you?
Good day.
How can I help you?
This is Leah Stevens, the conductor.
Oh yeah, I'm not ready yet. You got a call. You've been from COB, right? Yeah, I'm still doing my live show. I'm not finished yet. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. It's a student from COB who I told to call me around this time.
Okay.
After 7, I just see.
Oh my God.
After 7, yeah. Yeah. Okay, but that's what I'm talking about. I missed my point. There's something else I actually did just now. Anyhow, so the point is, we know what is actually happening. You've been doing a tremendous job, and you've got them thinking again. They just can't decide that they can dismiss you, count you out. That ain't in the plate. That ain't the number book number. That's a different story now.
Yeah.
They got to deal with you.
Yeah. Yeah. And so they know they have to deal with us because the people want change. And we are the only change out there. You know, they have certain plans. They're trying to figure out how they're going to deal with us. They tried to smear us and lie on us for the last few years, and then it isn't resonating with the people. It's just like with Trump, it is not working. Last election, they tried to form fake third parties, and so they're talking about doing that again. But I don't think they feel that that's going to work because we're out there. So they try to ignore us into oblivion to make us not be able to go on other talk shows and for the news to only cover us when we were out there protesting. So they want to paint this picture of us that we're just some rebel rousers and just rowdy and talking loud all the time because people only see us when we're out on the news, when we're out there protesting, you know. And so, but for a lot of people, what's moving this movement is not the media, not the regular media. What's moving this movement is actually mouth to ears. Okay. All right. So word of mouth is spreading this movement. People are at their workplace, they're at home, they're in church, and that's all they're talking about. And we want to encourage everyone to continue to evangelize. Evangelize means to move the message. That's not a religious term. It means to move the message. And so people continue to spread the word. They can block us off of the news, you know. They can twist stories about us on the news, but guess what? You cannot be stopped. They cannot tell you what to say and who to say it to. Grab your friends and family. Don't give up on them. Some of them are still caught up on nonsense. Some of them still don't believe that we could bring the change. Some of them believe that we're thinking too big. But if they believe that, tell them to call in. Go ahead.
Yeah. Good afternoon. How are you?
Good evening.
Like the COI, Donald Trump was not getting proper media coverage in the United States either. They were ignoring him. They were thinking that Kamala Harris money behind her. She had all of what is needed to have won that election. She just wasn't Donald Trump. That was the problem. And so I just want to encourage the COI that, listen, I just came out of the Junkin shop. And when I walked in the shop, the guys were listening to y'all. So I was like, well, how come y'all listening to that and not reggae music? Oh, we blocked. That's what I have to say. Listen, we don't need it. We got social media, and Donald Trump has
social media,
all of the blockages.
Absolutely.
All of the blockages. How much people you think listen to the radio, the news? The people we reach out are the people who are going to change this government, and that is the youth of this nation and the young at heart. They are who's going to change this government. We don't need them. That means we want everybody to vote black. But what I want to see is we're reaching who we need to reach. And just like Mr. Bain said, that word of mouth is powerful. Social media is doubly powerful. We got this.
All right.
Amen.
Appreciate your call. Thank you.
Amen. Yeah. The PLP started there. They tested the field. They had a big concert, some golden affair on Saturday at the Awaki, West Esplanade.
Yeah.
And, you know, the turnout was poor for a major party. I mean, at our rally on Awaki, we had much more people than they had there. And that was kind of, I think it was a free fair and concert.
That's a sign of the times to come. See, that's what I'm saying. You have to look at this thing and you have to understand why are not the people going out to be a part of a governing party that's in the government today. They should be crowding out there and doing what they have to do because they in charge. But you see, if they can't even hustle the people out there, that tells you
with
something.
a free concert.
That tells you something. That's not a good bit. That's not a good message.
Yeah.
And they know what it actually means, but they're gonna be the ones to go and say, "This is what it really means, boy." They're in a bad shape. They're not in the best of shape. I can tell you that. It's not the best of shape at this particular time. But we'll see how it goes and see how it really works out this time around. But thank you, Ben. I'm happy to have had you here today, just because I wanted to just keep an update on what's going on. And you had been missing for a bit because you had the other people coming and saying what they had to say, which was good because you have to share this thing around and make sure that everybody knows who everybody else is. And you can't be they can't be saying that you're hogging everything. No, this is a man who's allowing for people to do and represent themselves, and they've got to be very good when they come in and represent themselves because they know what's to be expected. They've heard you on the show. They know exactly what you are all about. And so they are walking a good line right now. And the point is that you've got to do what you've got to do. You've got to go and spread messages all around the country.
Yeah.
Because you are in campaign mode. You are now presidential. You are going for the whole 9 yards. And that's a good thing. And thank God there's someone like you. If there were other people like you, they'd be right here too. Because you need to have a paradigm shift in the culture of our country. You need to have a change in the welfare of our country. And we cannot get it if these guys are going to be fooling around every day with the same old nonsense about corruption and inadequacies and incompetence and that kind of stuff. We can't get that. We have to get new people to do new things to bring about a better Bahamas in our country. Wouldn't you say?
Yes.
Absolutely. And now they're calling me, so let's see who this is now. Good afternoon. Final call. How are you?
Good afternoon, Mr. Ben Coffee and Mr. McKinney.
Papa, how you doing?
Thank God for that. You like not Sean Hannity on Fox News. You like Fox News straight now. You're the only one. I don't want to say with the COI and Lincoln. You're the only one really giving them like a voice. I mean, I hear Lincoln Bennis do a chat or do something live.
Yeah, he does.
You know, like having a radio station where the people listening to. And I want to continue to salute you for what you'll be doing on behalf of the Bahamian people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and Mr. McKinney, should it matter for the voters if they win? On the side would win, or just if you vote your conscience.
You vote your conscience. You vote your conscience and you hope that you're doing the right thing because we need to have a change in our country to the point where, you know, we're getting things that we need to have happen for the Bahamian people at large. At large, that people need the requisite help, and that's what they really need so badly. And that's one of the reasons why people are not so very happy with the current things that are happening right now. Mind you, doesn't mean that they can't get it right, but it's going to take a long way to get it right because now they have new people in the picture, new people are coming on the periphery. There are now new people in this picture that makes it even more difficult. You see what I'm saying?
Give the message for the others to carry on with just in case we leave.
Of course.
But it's taking so long. I know some people in the United States would like to punish politically the Democrats and the Republican Party for their failure. Right?
Yeah.
And this time around, okay, they come together, the independents, at least one of the independents. I think the Green Party must be still around. They come together and they end up punishing the Democrats.
Yes.
So I wonder here in the Bahamas how they can be in them to get to be the next government or the official opposition making one of these major parties a third party. So as you boy Lincoln being on the COI name on these radio stations, except Peace FM, you get cut or they make it sound like you're wasting your time.
You mean they cut you out? Oh Lord, they shouldn't cut you out. That's a serious thing.
As soon as you go out there, they cut you off.
What do you think that is? You think that's hate for the man or hate for the party or hate for the movement?
It's fair.
What that is?
It's fair.
And I'm making no joke or I being serious with you, like how you ask the first question now.
Yeah.
You ask the right thing. It's all of that. They might not like him like that. It might be hate. And it would, some people say it would have been good if he was in the leader. He step aside, let someone else lead over there. But you know what I think is more important? Is all of these third parties are going to come together. If they can come together, not fight amongst one another. Come together as one. But even more than that, the PLP is the party right now in power. I believe a third party or COI or whatever should get together with the opposition to make sure we make a change. If you see that you want to make a change, unless you know how long you're going to be on this earth, or you get time to go for another couple more elections just to get this thing started, maybe to get this thing finished, then we can do that. But I believe like it would have been better if the third parties could have come together, even if they could have get along with the opposition, some of them run together to make sure, because in spite of some of the things with the PLP doing, their attitude politically is stink, and they politically piss a lot of people off, especially PLPs. And I wonder, like, what was Lincoln doing, or even the free national movement doing to attract those?
Yes, I understand what you're saying.
And so I
understand what you're saying.
I can tell you, before the last election, we were calling for persons in the other parties to work together. I think the PLP and FNM took advantage of that and tried to recruit them on their own to try to get them, to be their puppets in some instances. But definitely, I cannot work with the PLP or FNM because they are the problem. And Pop, I want you to understand. You're a legend on the radio. I want you to understand. Let me finish. Listen though, I'm going to answer that for you. It's very easy. Listen, getting in parliament doesn't help. I've spoken to many MPs who have had so much vigor and zeal. I can call names. I've spoken to MPs like Glennisana Martin and others who, hold on, let me finish. And when they say that when they get in there, they realize that they can't do nothing they want to do. They just have to toe the party line, sit down and shut up and do as they're told, right? No, I would never toe a party line because I act on principle. But I want you to know, you don't put the new in the old. That's Jesus' words of wisdom. All right? Don't put the new in the old because it could burst. And don't mix the old with the new. And so if you really want to make a change, and that's what happened to Trump the first time, I want you to realize that when Trump won, he went in the Republican Party. When he won, they pushed a bunch of their people on him, a bunch of their old people. Right. And that crushed him. He couldn't do what he wanted. A lot of people around him, they were Republicans, got in trouble. Of course, he got the flack for it. But they were Republicans. They pushed the people on him. And he had to fire a bunch of them. Every other week, you had him firing them because the Republicans never really wanted him. But he was popular, so they had to go with him. And they tried to fight him down on the inside and shut him up. And he eventually was voted out. Now he's coming back, and he's coming back with his own people. These aren't the people that he's having in his cabinet. These aren't Republicans. These are his people he can be effective with. And he realizes that he has to do something new and different. And the old ones have passed away. Elon Musk and Vivek and these people, these young people you have around him now, this is a new crew. And so we are going in there with a new crew of real Bahamians. And when it's time for change, the money don't matter and the old systems don't matter. I am not going to corrupt myself by going in the FNM that is going to do the bidding of the same old oligarchs. All it is Brent Simonette doing whatever you want, giving him all the contracts, and the Hollow West Coast and all these other people. They are going to do what they want. Once they win, they don't need you no more. They don't care about you. They're going to do what they want to do because they don't win. And they know they only got 5 years. And then their partners, the PLP, is going to come in. The same old oligarchs, the Frankie Wilsons and all of them on their side. And so we want to end this and take the power popper, and we want to give that power to the people. Whether you think it can happen or not, hold on, last thing. Whether you think it can happen or not, it has to happen. Because if we don't win, if we don't win the election, this country is, hold on, Papa. We ain't hanging up on you. Steve own the station. He ain't got to stop now. If we don't win this election, it is over. There is no future election after this. It doesn't matter how long we live. This country is gone. We're going to be outnumbered. Majority rules. They're going to vote us out, and we're going to be flooded with immigrants who are going to take this country over, whether it's the illegal ones from the south or the legal ones from the north. We have to win this for the future of our children. Good question. We are good. I sorry, but you asked me a question. I gotta answer thoroughly. Not only you listening, my brother, the whole country listening. So what are we doing to win this? We are working every day, my brother. I am earning these bags under my eyes, you know. We are working every day. We are in the highways and the byways. We are traveling every island. No so-called third party has ever done the work that we are doing. We having rallies. We having conventions. We doing everything that these other old parties are doing, you know. We traveling to the family islands. We are making this happen. We are knocking on door to door. People don't even know we've been knocking on door to door from the election. So we never stopped. We are going door to door. We are putting things in place. After our convention, I told people we are out of protesting mode. We are not begging them for the change no more. We are going to build a party, and that's what we're doing. And you see us launching candidates. You see our candidates launch? We spend big money on that. Go ahead. We haven't ratified the Nassau Village candidate yet, so we're still working on that. We have several constituencies that we are still working on. Some of them we have more than one person, so we're either trying to do negotiations or we're trying to do a kind of voting process. But we're doing vetting. We're trying to make sure we vet everyone to make sure there's no connection to these oligarchs and that kind of stuff. We don't want no one who can sell out.
You don't see no way you can link up with the FNM or get stronger so we can make sure the PLC was the next government.
My brother, we are strong. We will not have any of the concerns. Listen to me. Listen. But you asked me a question. How you could ask me a question and then say I got to be willing to listen? You asked me a question. All right. So we are doing everything we can. All right. We are going to be just as strong as them. We're going to match them dollar for dollar. We are going to match them in every single way. Stay tuned. We are operating. We've launched candidates already. We're not waiting on them. We are out there working hard. We are going to drop our vision for this country. Say again? Yes. All right. Papa, let me show you something. That's a good question. Let me show you something. Trump used Twitter both times, right? Because the regular media, they did a survey and they said 90% of the stories on Trump was negative outside of Fox News. All right, 90% of the stories was negative. So they covered him, but in a bad way. All right, let me show you. I want you to look at my Facebook page, and just go down and keep looking and look at the views on there. Some things 20,000, 30,000, 50,000 in rare occasions, but normally between 10 and 20,000 people or even more watch those lives that I have. Now, the newspaper prints 8,000 copies a day. All right. And most of them are still left right there. They don't sell. They left right there in the gas station. You see them right there. They're not getting the readership that they used to get. All right. On Monday and Tuesday, they used to go up to 15,000, but that's rare. Not Monday and Tuesday, Monday and Thursday. All right. But that's rare now. All right. So people aren't really reading the newspapers, and they're getting most of their news. People are getting their news on social media. Most people are listening to the radio on social media. But a lot of people aren't listening to those radio stations anymore. People only have radio in their car, my friend. And so
except for us,
except
we
Steve.
are worldwide. We are worldwide. The world has us every day at 5 o'clock.
That is correct. And so we are getting out there. But what is moving this movement more than anything else, my brother, is mouth to mouth. Every workplace, the conversations raised about COI. Every place where people are gathered, there's a conversation about COI in the country right now. Talk to people, and you'll actually hear that. And someone from Customs called me and say, listen, every day, either the conversation start with COI or end with COI. They'll start talking about football, they can end up talking about COI before the conversation ends. That's happening all over the country right now. And the PLP and FNM know it.
I just think we need to do some things differently. And if you're serious about,
Yeah. The old weapons aren't going to work anymore. You're right. We got to do it differently. The old weapons aren't going to work anymore. And that's why we're using the new media is getting it done.
Can you see yourself like maybe allowing or COI allowing like people like PLPs, known FNM to run in that party?
Yes, once they are apologetic for their sins, and once they wake up and they realize that they want to do something different, of course we would. I want you to see something with the third party. I forgot to mention this when you said it earlier. A lot of former members of third parties are now hard COI members. A lot, even some of their candidates are now COI candidates.
Yeah, that's good. That'll be a good catch.
Shane Gibson and Vialva Gray, no thank you. They can join the party, but in terms of running, we tired of the old faces, my brother. Anyone can join this party. This is a party. But Shane Gibson has been a part of the problem for too long in this country. All right. Vialva Gray has been a part of the problem and corruption in this country for too long. Anyone can join our party. We're a party of Bahamians who are just doing this because we're tired of the politicians. But in terms of running, we need new vision. Go ahead. Yeah.
Regret how they voted for his party. You know what side? It's that. People, not just PLPs, but people have to vote, not have to. At the end of the day, from history, from we check the politics in this country, that meaning then we have to pick on the best, not pick on the best, but go with the free national movement in spite of how we feel about them, because I don't know if it's ego or what, or leaders have an issue or whatsoever, or do what we tell you to do. Don't do what you think.
But they can't. But Papa, they can't hear you. They can't hear you. You know why they can't hear you? Because they ain't listening. They ain't listening.
The government care less what we say. But listen to me. You know what the problem is? These people that ain't listening. And the behemoth, not just the behemoth people, the citizens. I argued for America. And it was
Didn't I tell you that? They're not listening.
America was able to show them people better than they can tell them. And I wish we had people that who leaders who would listen to us.
Yeah, what you said just now, that was key. That's key what you said.
We want, don't put who you want. If we tell you we want this particular person for national consistency, that's what we'll do. You see Fred Mitchell and talking when they come in the classes now, and they can't do that. It's not good. We have to do it something us and ask us how we feel. The people, we can tell you we don't want Jamal Strauss talking to say, although he's friendly with Fred Mitchell, although he's a smart person, although he's got a lot of knowledge, we don't want that to. They don't want to have no conclave or no classes. They can come back. Then the problem is, these politicians, or your politicians, don't need to listen to us, but listen to what we, you know how bad we would like to punish the pre-national movement and the PLP and put the COI. You think we were what you, or what you think, or you think you was all about?
Yes.
We just would like to punish them.
Yes.
Listen to the man. Papa, I can only tell you, I can only tell Lincoln, listen to you, listen to Papa, listen to the man. I gotta run. All the best, Paul. Listen to the man. That's what he said. You know how bad they really want to get rid of some people. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. This must be my final call now. Yes, sir.
Hello, good evening. Good evening, my brother. How are you?
I'm in good shape.
That's good, man. Mr. President, how are you?
I am alive. How are you doing?
We over time now. It's only 7 foot 35.
Okay, I'm fine. I just want to say something to Papa. Papa, this is Ivan, uncle. You know me quite well. Papa, what I need you to say, Papa, is say that you reject the FNM, you reject the PLP, and you will support the COI and Lincoln Bean, who will take this country into the new Bahamas. Mr. Bean and Mr. McKinney, everywhere I go, I'm well known in this country, everywhere I go, barbershops, malls, because people know that I'm supporting the COI. They say, James, if you're supporting the COI, I listened to you on Steve McKinney. You know who's going to win this election? Social media and your station, Mr. McKinney. Who is bringing truth to the Bahamian people? That Lincoln and his associates, which is opening the eyes of the Bahamian people in this country. Everywhere I go, Mr. McKinney, Mr. Bain, they're saying they are fed up.
Mm-hmm.
They are fed up. That's what I'm saying. The Bahamian people are ready. The food is about, it's so right now, they want to pick the food. They're ready to vote tomorrow. All I want to encourage you, Mr. Bain, Mr. McKinney, thank God for you. Thank God for social media. The message is getting out. Don't mind, just like what Mr. Bain have said, these mainstream media, like ZNS, I don't remember the last month, almost a year, I watched ZNS. These other stations, no one is listening to them. And so, Mr. Bain, you're doing a stellar job. And the crew is working hard. Continue to educate the people. The people is fresh. They're looking for a fresh leader. You are the man. I believe that. I trust in you. And I believe that you are able, along with the other persons, with Steve McKinney and pushing social media and other persons, you'll take this country out of the tyrant leader, Philip the Haitian, Brave Davis, who don't love this country and never did. I promise Mr. Dave, and I close with this. I challenge Philip Brave Davis on Mr. McKinney show. He cannot come, and he will not come to the Bahamian people and say that he misspoke when he said that the Haitian, he tried to make the Haitian Bahamian, and that he is a Haitian. He don't come to the Bahamian people and say he is not a Haitian, and that he loves the Bahamian people. God bless you, Mr. McKinney, and God bless Mr. Lincoln Bain and the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate the call. Thank you kindly.
Thank you, man.
And I'm looking at the clock. Our time, 7:37 is the time.
Yeah, I need to go get breakfast.
You gotta get your breakfast. You had your breakfast yet?
No.
My goodness.
Unless Snickers is breakfast.
Anyway, the best of luck to you. I appreciate the fact that you came by today and brought us up to date with what's happening down there in Abaco. And I believe that a lot of good things are going to be happening for the COI and the people like that in the future, because you are now generating some new interest. There are new people who are wanting to get on board with the COI.
Mm-hmm.
And that has got to be scary for the two political parties that they talk about all the time, the PLP and the FNM. That's got to be a scary thing, because really it means that you guys are gaining ground. Now, I was a sportscaster.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm a sportscaster and I can tell you when people are gaining ground, that's a terminology we used all the time when somebody is trying to come from behind and win the game from the back. They're gaining ground. You can hear a footstep knocking on the door. Something is happening. Will they wake up? And will Brave Davis answer the call on the immigration matter? Will he answer the call on the economic matter? Will he answer the call on the things that are so very profound in our country today? Healthcare and all the other stuff. The murder rate, the continuous crime, unabated. Will he answer the call? Will he have time to answer the call?
I need him to answer the call of the Bahamian people to step down. We're calling on him to step down. We're calling on the Minister of Social Services to step down because of what's going on personally with him. And we are going to answer the call of the Bahamian people to step forward. And we have answered the call. And we're going to bring that change and be that change that the people want to see. We're excited for a new Bahamas. We're excited for a new vision. It is exactly 10 years. On Saturday, it was 10 years since Pastor Miles Monroe died.
Yes.
And he prophesied of a new crew, new faces that you ain't never seen before.
That's right.
It's new people, not the regular politicians,
10 years
who have a vision for the new Bahamas. Yeah. And he said that they're going to take us into the new Bahamas. And I believe that. It's 10 years since a legendary Bahamian is passed away, and his prophecy remains. And I think that now is the time. Ring the bell, Philip Brave Davis. Ring the bell so that we can move into a new Bahamas.
When Steve talks, everybody listen. The government does move quick. Every day he got this, they want hard coffee, hard coffee.
That's our show today here on Hard Copy. Thank you so much for the many sponsors.